Hello everybody, today I will try recreating school lunches from the USA over the last 100 years. Let's see how the food has changed in schools. And let's find out the most important thing, in which year the school children were fed the best. Let's start with the 1920s. This is the time of the economic recovery of the United States after the First World War. Therefore, it was supposed to be very tasty to feed the children at school. Meatballs and brown sauce were served as the main course. Mashed potatoes are served as a side dish. For the appetizer, slices of fresh celery with an olive tapenade. For dessert, vanilla pudding. Very popular among children at the time. And the drink of choice is fresh apple juice. The cost of such a meal was only 25 cents. And then it was very fashionable for simple and popular dishes, and potatoes and meat and brown sauce were widespread in American cuisine. And before this lunch, I didn't even think that there was such an olive tapenade. Well, let's try and appreciate this lunch. Having eaten absolutely everything, I can say that I am completely full. The lunch is quite balanced. Delicious meatballs, mashed potatoes, and dessert with a drink. But I don't really like celery, so I would give this dinner a 9 out of 10. Let's move on to the 1930s, the time of the Great Depression in the USA. The main course was vegetable soup, garnished with Idaho potatoes. There are two snacks here. The first is string beans, and the second one is mushrooms and a cream sauce. Berry pie for dessert, and the drink is milk. This lunch costs 40 cents. During the Great Depression in the United States, people tried to save money, so there was no meat on the menu. Inexpensive products such as vegetables were used. Let's try it. Considering that these were the worst of times for the US, lunch isn't bad, but due to the lack of meat, I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. The 1940s, during the Second World War. The main dish for the students was meat stew with potatoes. Boiled rice is served as a side dish. A vegetable salad consisting of carrots and vegetables. For dessert, apple pie. And the drink is lemonade. Lunch was even cheaper than in the last decade. Only 35 cents. During World War II, food was limited, but the government provided balanced and nutritious lunches to school children. Meat was strategically important to ensure proper nutrition. Well, let's test this lunch. The desserts barely even fit. So far, this is the most satisfying meal of all, but definitely not the most delicious. I'm gonna give this 7 out of 10. The 1950s. A golden time in the United States thanks to the frenzied post-war economic growth. The main course is steak. To garnish, potato pancakes. Snack in the form of baked beans. There is also a shrimp appetizer. For dessert, chocolate cake and iced tea. The cost of this lunch was 40 cents. At this time, Americans began to dine more heavily, and their diets became way more satisfying. Seafood consumption also became pretty popular, so shrimp was often added to school lunches. Let's check this out. Oh yeah, this school lunch turned out to be even more satisfying than the last one. I barely emptied this tray. As for me, the lunch is poorly balanced. Too much protein from meat, beans, and shrimp. And there was no salad at all. That's why I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10. The 1960s. The era of rock and roll and fast food in the US. Back then, the main course was a burger. To garnish it with French fries and ketchup. Dessert was a donut with icing and filling, while the drink is the well-known Coca-Cola. It cost $1.50 for such a meal. At this time, large fast food companies like McDonald's began opening their restaurants all over the United States at a tremendous rate, and people are just fans of their food. Therefore, many people really liked this kind of diet. All right, let's try it. Of course, fast food is really tasty, but if you were to eat this every day, then obesity is guaranteed. Therefore, for harmfulness, a 7 out of 10. The 1970s. The era of technology into the advent of the internet. Let's see what the students ate at that time. The main course was the iconic mac and cheese. A Caesar salad with salmon. Berry jello for dessert. And a multivitamin juice. Such a meal cost only $1. In the 70s, new gastronomic tastes appeared, and Americans began to prefer more exotic products, such as Caesar salad, and the iconic mac and cheese recipe was also discovered. Let's try this lunch. Finishing this dessert, I feel like I ate right perfectly in moderation. I'm not hungry, and at the same time, I haven't overeaten. That's why I'm giving this dinner a 9 out of 10. The 1980s. At this time, game consoles and personal computers appeared, and there was a second fast food boom. At school, children were fed chicken strips, usually with like a sweet and sour sauce. Potato salad is very popular in the USA. Pizza. And as a drink, Sprite. The cost of this lunch was $1. As I said, fast food has become even more popular, and the chicken fries have become an icon of the American cuisine. Well, let's try it. The breaded chicken. Very similar to KFC. Pepperoni pizza. This has a pretty standard taste, but one of the features is that the shape of the piece is a square for convenient placement in a tray. Potato salad. Classic American cuisine. And I think everybody already knows what Sprite tastes like. In general, it's pretty delicious, but you can't eat this every day, so a 7 out of 10. The 1990s. The era of the technological revolution into the emergence of companies such as Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. At that time, children at school were fed chili with beef. A Mexican salad. Corn tortillas. There were canned fruits for dessert, such as peaches. And the mega fashionable drink at the time was a Frappuccino. Such a lunch has already cost about $5. In the 90s, a culture of diverse products flourished. Therefore, Mexican cuisine began to influence school meals. And the newly appeared coffee drink Frappuccino greatly invigorated the students of that time. Let's try it. By the way, the peach turned out to be a pretty great dessert. I didn't think that it would be almost as fresh. I'm gonna give this dinner 8 out of 10. The 2000s. The era of social media such as Twitter and Facebook. The main course was salmon and teriyaki sauce and thick rice noodles, seaweed salad, for dessert, chocolate chip cookies, and ginger lemonade. You could buy a lunch like this for $8. In the early 2000s, healthy eating became the main topic. Therefore, fish, rice noodles, and salads have become popular school lunches. At the same time, Asian cuisine became popular. Now let's get down to lunch. So, I can say that this VAO was the most delicious of all, perfectly balanced, and ideally in the amount of calories. You can eat this at least every day, 10 out of 10. The 2010s, the era of smartphones. Absolutely everything has already been invented for them: games, applications, services, and much more. Most often, students say sandwiches and a caprese salad. For dessert, a couple of ice cream scoops. And the drink is a fruit smoothie. The lunch costs $3. Of course, the food sets would vary because the canteens are in the form of a buffet, and what the students want, they buy. But this is one of the most popular choices of the time. Let's try the lunch. I can say that this lunch is very tasty and medium hearty-wise, but I like it. You could also eat this every day. Therefore, we're gonna give this one a solid 9 out of 10. As a result, it turns out that the most delicious and balanced lunch in the USA was during the 2000s. Write in the comments what else could be compared now versus 100 years ago. And if this video gets lots of likes, then we will continue this format. Bye, everybody.